Good morning! Hi! I'm still alive, everyone. I swear I'm still alive. I am so sorry. I haven't posted a video, I just looked, since I think January 4th of this year, which is almost 2 months, so I apologize. Part of it's been just pure laziness and just haven't filmed. Some of it's been, oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? And then some of it's just been general busyness. So that combination does not make for a very motivated Megan, and so there you go. But I'm hoping to get back in the swing of things. So Crystal and Marley, I am doing this video for you guys. I am doing this for you. Well, not really. I'm doing it for me because I like doing them, but you are what motivated me to get on it this weekend. Anyway, so I have a lot to talk about since I last did my video. I read a lot of books. Well, a lot for me. I think for other people, they probably read me into the ground, but I read a lot in the last couple of months, and it's been fun. Like, I've had a lot of fun breezing through some of these books. And you know what? Hold on. I set my Goodreads challenge really low this year, and it feels really good to be like 5 books ahead of my challenge. Last year, I think I set my challenge at like 150 books, and I think this year I set it at 90 or 75 or I don't know, really low. So it was basically as a way to like boost my confidence throughout the year, because I remember last year at 150 books, I was like behind by the second week, and I was like, man, I'm never gonna catch up, and I didn't catch up. But what can you do? Do you guys do that? Do you guys set your Goodreads challenge like really low so that you feel better about yourself? Because that's what I did this year. Yeah. So I wish I could read faster. And I think part of it, I'm getting off on a tangent, but I think part of it is the fact that it's really important to me to review everything that I read. And I know veteran bloggers are like, oh yeah, I got over that years ago. But I just really like to have that gauge. I like to have my thoughts down, and so I can move on. And so that's what I've been trying to do. And it doesn't take me very long once I finish a book and kind of put my thoughts together, because I know what I want to say. It's just a matter of like sitting down and writing it. So that was another one of my goals this year, is to make sure I stay caught up on reviews, and I have. So where was I going with this? Oh, just talking about what slows me down. Yeah, well, stopping and writing reviews and things like that. So let me just kind of tell you what I've read since January 4th. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at my Goodreads. Okay, I reread, so that I could write a review, I reread Clipped Wings by Helena, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Helena Hunting. And I don't think that series is going to be for me, so I read the first one, and I don't think I'm going to continue with it. I read the first one in the prequel, so that's that. Need a coffee break. And then I wanted something really fun, and Christina Lauren seems to be my fun author, or fun authors to go to. And so I read Beautiful Player, and holy crap, that book was so good. I had so much fun reading that book, and Will was just like the perfect guy. He was so sweet. And now I need to go back and read the rest of the Beautiful series, so Beautiful Bastard series, so that I can be ready for Beautiful Secret when it comes out in April. So that's my goal. Narita, you are buddy reading that series with me, so it's happening. If you're watching this, you said you would. Then I read Before I Go, which is more like women's fiction, really sad, about a woman who finds out her cancer is back, and it's terminal, and so she's kind of preparing her husband for her death, and she spends the rest of her days kind of just worrying about what's going to be like. What is his life going to be like whenever she's gone? That was good. That was a good book. I read Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher, and I had super mixed feelings about that book. but I'll still read the second one because I'm curious, but I didn't love it like everyone else did, which is a bummer because I do love those authors' books. So, Then I read Kaleidoscope Hearts by Clara Contreras, and I was so happy because I hadn't read any of her books, and I felt like a terrible person. So that book was a really fun second chance romance, so you should check it out if you haven't. Need a coffee break. I read Paper or Plastic by Vivi Barnes, and that was just like a super squeaky, cute YA about a girl who steals from her local like supermarket. It's like a Walmart, but I forget what the actual store is called. And part of her punishment is to work in the store, and her boss is like this super geeky like manager, and she goes to high school with him, but he's a year older, and it's cute. And then I reread Side Effects May Vary by Julie Murphy, and that came out last year. And it's kind of the reverse cancer story where she thought she was dying, but then her cancer goes into remission, and the problem with that is that when she thought she was terminal, she did all of these horrible things to her classmates, and now that she's not dying, she kind of has to pick up the pieces and deal with the consequences. But what I loved about that book was her best friend, Harvey, and he was just the sweetest person in the whole wide world, and he put up with a lot of her crap, and he's pretty much the perfect guy because of that. And then I read Rebound, and everybody, if you are a fan of new adult and you don't want something that's like sex, 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 you should read Boomerang and Rebound, because these books are where it's at. It was so good, and I'm not knocking the sex, sex, sex books, but it was just kind of nice to have this new adult that wasn't inundated with lots of it, and it was just really fun. It was really fun, so check that out. I read When Reason Breaks by Cindy L. Rodriguez, and that is a YA story, kind of more realistic fiction, but it deals with depression and suicide. It's an issue book, but I really liked that. I think I'll post my review at some point in the next couple of weeks. I have it done. I just need to post it. And then before I went to Florida, because I went to Florida since I last saw you, I read Clear by Jessica Park, and I loved Flat Out Love. I read most of Flat Out Matt and really liked that too. But Clear just didn't work out for me, so I'll be posting my review of that later. Probably sometime in March, in mid to late March. And then I decided when I went to Florida that I wanted to binge read the On Dublin Street series, which is exactly what I did. I'm now on the fifth book? Yes, the fifth book, which is Echoes of Scotland Street, and I'm feeling very accomplished because that was one of my goals, was to try to finish series that I started and haven't, followed through. So, I read Until Fountain Bridge, which is the Ellie Adam novella. I read Down London Road. I read Before Jamaica Lane, and I read Fall from India Place. So then I have Echoes of Scotland Street, and then I'm ready for Moonlight on Nightingale Way. I think that's what it is, which comes out in the summer. So I'm ready for that. I'm so excited. Okay, so that's what I've been reading. What I'm going to read after I finish On Dublin Street, I haven't completely decided. I think I'll either read Hearts of Fire by L.H. Cosway, which comes out the beginning of March, or I will read Therapy by Catherine Vance Perez, because Catherine, if you're watching this, I think I'm supposed to review that book this month. I'm pretty sure I am. So, sorry, Katie. Okay, and so this week I was kind of brainstorming. I was like, what am I going to talk about in my video? And I decided that I would talk about YA books that have come out recently, like in the past year or so, that I really want to read but haven't read yet. And then kind of just discuss some YA books that I have read that I would recommend to you. Because that's one of my goals this year, is I want to read more YA. I've really dropped the ball, And I really got wrapped up in the whole new adult trend the last couple of years, and I need to stop. I need to read more. I need to broaden my horizons and read more YA, because I do love it. I wouldn't even say I love new adult more than YA. It's just I suck and I haven't read any of it. So, here are some books that I hope to get to really soon. If you know me, I probably won't get to them, but I'm going to try my darndest. And some of these I have in hardcover, but the first one is Rites of Passage, and let me switch over here. The first one is Rites of Passage by Joy Hensley, Joy N. Hensley. A lot of my friends have read this and loved it and went crazy about it. And I have one friend who read it and she was like not impressed, but I do want to read it. It has a forbidden romance and it takes place in like a military setting. So I do want to read this. I bought this whenever I bought Burned. So yes, Rites of Passage. And then I really still need to read My Life Next Door, which is Huntley Fitzpatrick's, I think it was her debut novel, maybe? I could be wrong. But it came out a couple of years ago, and I want to read it because, first of all, I loved what I thought was true. But second of all, I think the sequel, which I don't know if it's a companion or a continuation, but it comes out at some point this year. I think in the summer. The Boy Most Likely 2 is the sequel, or the next book. So I've heard from a lot of people that this is really, really good. And the cover is really cute. That's that. All right. And I've talked about this book before. As you can see, I still haven't read it because I suck, but I got this last year. It came out, I think, last May, and it's published by Penguin. But it's Love and Other Foreign Words by Erin McCahan? I don't know. But it looks really, really cute, about a girl who, I think she's really obsessed with like linguistics. And the only language that she's not well versed in is the language of love, and she doesn't really know what to do when the boy she likes doesn't love her back. I think that's kind of what it is. Josie is forced to examine her feelings for the boy who says he loves her, the sister she loves but doesn't always like, and the best friend who hasn't said a word, at least not in a language Josie understands. So, yes, I need to read that. All right. All right, this book, this is a book that my friend Nareda had mailed to me over a year ago, and I still haven't read, but it's How to Love by Katie Cotugno, and I still need to read it. I've seen mixed reviews on it, but I think it's like a second chance romance, and it could not even be YA, but whatever. I need to read it. But her next book, 99 Days, comes out this year. So maybe I'll try to read this before I read that, because I do have a advanced copy of that too. I need to follow up on, I need to binge read things. Oh goodness. Yeah, let me read the blurb because it looked really good. Before, Rena Montero has loved Sawyer Legrand for as long as she can remember, as natural as breathing, as endless as time, but he's never seemed to notice that Rena even exists, until one day, impossibly, he does. Rena and Sawyer fall in a messy, complicated love, but then Sawyer disappears from their humid Florida town without a word, leaving a devastated and pregnant Rena behind. After almost 3 years have passed, and there's a new love in Rena's life, her daughter, Hannah. Rena's gotten used to life without Sawyer, and she's finally getting the hang of this strange, unexpected life, but just as swiftly and suddenly as he disappeared, Sawyer turns up again. Rena doesn't want anything to do with him, though she'd be lying if she said Sawyer being back wasn't stirring something in her. After everything that's happened, can Rena really let herself love Sawyer Legrand again? So, that looks good. Maybe that's not YA, but I thought it was, but whatever. I'm going with it. I need to read it. Okay, the next book is a series, and I've heard from several people that it's really, really, really good, and it's by an author, one of the authors of the Boomerang series, so I really want to read it, and it is Through Under the Never Sky, and I have the sequel right here, which was why I said that, but Yeah. I've heard it's really, really good. I heard it has a great romance storyline, so, oh, and I forgot I had this signed. Thanks, Steph. Cool. Ah, that's exciting. I'm dumb and I just forget these things, but yes, I need to read this. And it came out a couple of years ago, and I think the series is complete. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is. Oh, and the tagline. I like the tagline. 1,000,000 ways to die, 1 way to live. In a world of danger, an unlikely alliance, breathtaking adventure, and unforgettable romance. That's what the back says. Okay. All right. And the next book came out last year, I believe. And I think it was one of my most anticipated books last year, and I never got to it. But I just bought it from Book Outlet in December. But it's called Parallel. Maybe, no, this is the one. This came out a couple of years ago. And then the sequel, I think the sequel came out last year. And now I'm going to have to look this up. I don't remember. But it looks really, really good. Now I'm going to have to check it out. Hold on. Because now I'm going to talk about the other book if this isn't it. Okay, this is her debut novel. It came out a couple of years ago. It is deeply romantic and entertaining, says Melissa De La Cruz. But the most anticipated book that was on my list last year was Free to Fall by the same author. So I want to read both of those. And I only have the first one, but there you go. And it's not a series. It's just by the same author. And the last book that I really want to read this isn't the last one, but of the ones that I was just kind of thinking of for this video, The Winter's Curse. And I don't even know if I'm going to even try to pronounce her name. Marie Rakowski? I don't know. The Winter's Curse and then Winter's Crime, I think either just came out or is coming out really soon. But I've heard from several people that this series is really good. And look at the cover. Cover love. Looks really, really good. And I like look at when you buy the paperback, the pages are like all tattered and uneven. It's kind of cool. But yes. Heard from lots of people. This is really good. What else? I'm sure I have other series. Oh, one more. Or a couple of more. A few more. That I don't have in front of me. That are books that I want to finish or read. Since I started The Undublin Street, and that's a new adult, I thought I should pick a YA series that I have started but not finished. And I have a couple of those. First, the Shatter Me series by Tahara Mafi. I read the first one a few years ago, like May of 2012, I think. But I never went back and finished the rest of them. And I really, really want to. So now that the series is complete and I have all of the books and the novellas, I think I'm going to go back and read those relatively soon. I heard the third book is pretty polarizing. Some people really loved it and said it was amazing, and then some people were pissed about it. So I have no idea who she ends up with in the last book. And I don't even have an opinion at this point because I haven't read Warner's novella and I haven't read the second book, which apparently all the Warner people, it's like a house divided. There are Team Adams and Team Warners. So, and I am not loyal to either team at this point because I have a feeling that I will flip-flop. Like, I've only really met Adam, and I have a feeling that Warner will persuade me. Okay, and then I thought I would just kind of talk about some of the YA books that I recommend to you. And granted, like I said, I haven't read that many YA. I feel like I was looking through all the books that I've read over the last few years, and I'm like, oh, I really suck. So, these will not be a surprise to you at all. But the first is a couple of the series, and that's the Vampire Academy series by Richelle Mead. I know that you guys know that I like Richelle Mead. But seriously, this series, there are some jaw-dropping moments, there's some sexy moments, there's like badass moments, and like, it's so good. Some sad moments. But it really is really good. And if you saw the movie and hadn't read the books and that might deter you, please read the books, don't watch the movie. The movie was really disappointing in my opinion, and I hate saying that, but it's true. But the series is so good. So good. And its follow-up series, Bloodlines, which follows, so this book follows Rose and Dimitri. And then the Bloodline series is Adrian, it's Sydney, which are both characters you meet in this series. Bloodlines, I've only read the first 3 books. The first 2 books, in my opinion, were a little slow. But the 3rd book was awesome, and I need to read The Fiery Heart and Silver Shadows and Ruby Circle now that it's all done. And I just read yesterday somewhere that I guess Richelle Mead said that her next series is not going to be in the Vampire Academy world, which has me really excited because I just want to see something different from her in terms of the YA series. I know she has a standalone coming out in the fall, which I'm really excited about. Richelle Mead is very into like folklore and mythology, which you can really tell in her Georgina Kincaid series. There's a lot of kind of Greek lore mixed in with that. And then in her Game Board of the Gods, Age of X series, Greek mythology and religion is very heavily woven into that book. So I'm excited about Soundless because she has kind of brought in this new like Chinese folklore and mythology and created a story based on that. But it's about a girl named Faye, I think, and she lives in this remote village. I'm assuming in this like in the eastern world somewhere, and no one in her village has heard or seen anything in decades, and all of a sudden she is awakened by this piercing sound, and it's the first thing she's heard in years. And it's something, I think it's going to be a story of like her bringing out and saving her village. So I love Richelle Mead. I'll read anything she writes. So I'm really excited for Soundless. So you should add that on Goodreads. Add it, and I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, other YA books that I recommend. So I talked about Vampire Academy. I talked about Bloodlines. The Anna and the French Kiss series. I know that's been everywhere. You should read Anna and the French Kiss, Lola and the Boy Next Door, and Island the Happily Ever After. Lola is my favorite. Isla's probably my least favorite, although I still really liked it. And then the Delirium series by Lauren Oliver. I've read all of those books. But the first book is definitely the best one, in my opinion. It has everything that you want in like a sweeping love story. There's adversity, and they're fighting to be together, and it's just fantastic, and the writing is beautiful. It's beautiful. The second and third books were a little bit disappointing, though, especially the third one. But I think had I read the third book when it came out and had all of these expectations and had been waiting, I would have been much more disappointed than what I was. Because I was preparing myself for like the absolute possible worst outcome, and so yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. And the last book, YA book, that I will recommend is The Sea of Tranquility, which comes to no surprise. And I'm actually talking about this now because I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, but I went to Florida and I met up with Katya Millay, and she was nice enough to sign this special copy and put lots of quotes that everyone had said that was their favorites, and she put them all over the book. And they're even in the back. And she has such pretty handwriting. Daylight won't protect you from anything. Bad things happen all the time. They don't wait until after dinner. Josh Bennett without work boots. And the smell of sawdust is all sorts of wrong. Not my fault. You're distractingly pretty. So if you haven't read this book, I would highly recommend that you pick it up. I will be giving this copy away very soon. I just need to set up the giveaway this week or next week. But this will go to a lucky winner, and it has been touched and loved by Katya Millay, and it's been all over Orlando and Lake Mary. So yeah, I'm really excited to give this away because I love this book. Okay. And speaking of Richelle Mead, I just posted on Facebook yesterday, but no one probably cares, but I'm excited, so I'm just going to talk about it anyway. I stalk her on Goodreads, and I'm not ashamed of it, but I just saw that she must have released the title of the third Age of X book, and it's called The Eye of Andromeda. I loved the second book in that series, and the first book I liked, but it was slow and just really different than her other books. But man, by the second book I was all in, and now I'm dying for the third book, and there's no release date. I can't find it anywhere in like any news on it, and I saw on Twitter that she said that it was going to be a little bit delayed, so I'm guessing it's not going to be out until next year or super late this year, but I'm guessing next year. Which makes me really sad, because if you have read the second book, you will understand my pain and understand why I know I've talked about this before, but why I'm really depressed about it. I'll get over it, because I have a lot of other books, and I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to complain about release dates and stuff like that, but I'm legit sad about it. And Richelle, if you're watching this, I'm going to find you at RT, and we're going to have a chit-chat and talk about Age of X. I'm just saying. Okay, and I thought the last thing I would talk about, and this video is running really, really long, 30 minutes. The last thing I would talk about is the 50 Shades of Grey movie. I went to Florida, last week for a week, and to visit my friend Autumn, and while I was there, like I said, I met up with Katya Millay, and Autumn, and Katie Miller, and Gloria, and then Autumn's mom and we all went to see the movie together. And you guys, when the first credits came, like when the movie started, I was just laughing with excitement, and that happened a lot throughout that movie. I was so excited, like I just could not wait. And so anyway, the final verdict is I loved the movie. I think if you are a hardcore fan of the books, and if you enjoy seeing the books that you love come to life, then you will enjoy this book, or enjoy the movie. I was so impressed, like everybody else said, with Dakota Johnson. I think she's amazing, and I really liked Jamie Dornan. I know he's been getting a little bit of flack because of his portrayal of Christian, but I thought he did a good job. Christian is very stoic and not emotional and kind of stiff in the first book, and it's not really until the end of the first book and the second book that he kind of starts to open up and be more free with his feelings. And I thought he did a good job with starting to open up, especially that last scene. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but that last scene it was really emotional, and you could just see the struggle in his face, like he was getting turned on by what he was doing to her. But then whenever she, kind of stood up and was like, "Don't touch me," you could see that he didn't like seeing her upset and seeing her in pain, and just that conflict. I thought he played that emotional conflict really, really well. Oh, that last scene was so good. That was so good. The last few scenes. But it definitely gets me ready for 50 Shades Darker. And in that same vein, I saw that E.L. James is wanting exclusive control over the script. And honestly, the movie studio is not going to let someone write a bad script, so I'm all about it. I think she knows her characters the best, and I am game for whatever. So I can see both sides. People saying, oh, well, she's never written a script before, but I think it will turn out fine. I can't wait. As excited as I was for this book, I can't imagine Megan in 50 Shades Darker, because that's my favorite book of the three, and I can't even think about how excited I'm going to be. I can't wait. Anyway, I saw that it might get delayed until next year, or late next year, early 2017, which makes me sad, but thankfully I have a lot of books to keep me company between now and then, so whatever. I just want it to be good, and I think it will. And Dakota Johnson. Oh, and speaking of Dakota Johnson, if you guys did not know, or if you missed my Facebook post, I've posted about this a couple of times. She is going to be starring in the movie adaptation of Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which was one of my favorite books of last year that I read. And after seeing her in 50 Shades of Grey, I am even more pumped about her being in that movie, because I think she's going to be the next big thing. I mean, she already is blowing up, but she'd be the perfect romantic comedy actress. She's so cute, and I totally have a girl crush on her. But anyway, that was my 50 Shades of Grey thoughts. I thought it was really great. The drunk Anna scene, she was like, Christian, let's go to coffee. Let's go to coffee. Come here. No, go away. Go away. I loved that. I love that scene. And she was like, I told him. Yeah. That was one of my favorite scenes of the book. And so I thought it was done really well in the movie too. Okay. Anyway. I hope you guys have a good week. Tell me what you've been reading, what you are reading. Have you read any of the books that I want to read? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Read something good for me and have a good week. Bye.